Guys, but a lot of that, like, the stuff we have, we take for granted so much. Like even the shoes we wear, even like, dude, lighting. Like if you have a bed, you have a roof over your head, you have light, you have an internet, dude, you're already better than 50% of the world, bro. Like it's like people don't even know that. So it's like at $300 a month, I had a kid who flipped a $50 account, flipped it from $50 to $500 in a week, right? Made his monthly, almost double his monthly income in 1 week trading. So that's just the value of the level of empowerment this could do to someone, right? Over the last 2 years, I haven't worked a single day in my life, okay? And I love it to death. But I remember I was that kid, dude, that used to work as a busboy, which is kind of a bitch boy, and I like to keep it real, bro, because I used to work at a restaurant, and that's how it is, right? You're almost someone's bitch boy, someone's bossing you around, telling you when to go to work, when to eat, when to pee, and what you're allowed to make. So real quick, I'm gonna show you guys something that introduced me to entrepreneurship that completely shifted my entire paradigm and my entire life, right? So let's get started. Cash flow quadrant. I don't know if you guys know who this guy is. His name is Robert Kiyosaki, actually best friends with Donald Trump. Hate him or love him, he's still our president of the United States, right? And he's pretty successful though. You know what I'm saying? So the cool part about it is what Robert Kiyosaki talked about was cash flow quadrant. 95% of the world is on the left side. 5% of the world is on the right side. So the employee is somebody that has that works for money. Right, they exchange their time for dollars. Second thing is he's self-employed. Right, the self-employed is 35%. You know, they work for themselves. Then you have the business owner and the investor. A business owner is someone considered that has 500 plus people in their organization, right? That's making anywhere from multiple six figures. These are like Fortune 500 CEO companies. Then you got the investor, right? These are people that have money working for them, right? So what we like to do is we like to educate people and teach them about the business owner side of it and also how to become an investor, right? Because if you don't have money working for you, you're going to work for money to the day you die, I promise you that. Why do you think the whole 40-40-40 plan exists, right? That dream that they sell you, go to school, go 40K in debt, go work 40 years of your life to hopefully retire at 40% of your income. The average rate in America right now, you know what age people retire? 75 years old. 75 years old. They say millennials need $2.3 million to retire, dude. 2.3 million. The inflation rate goes up at 2% every single year. The unemployment rate goes up 1% every single year. Every single time the unemployment rate goes up 1% every single year, 10,000 kids die, dude. So it's like, think of it in a logical standpoint. That dream they sold you, you're not even gonna get into 40K in debt. You guys go into ASU, some of you are in like probably 50K in debt. And now after that, obviously going to work for 40 years of your life, well, some people are now working 50 to 60 years of your life. And to retire on 40% of your income, there's no such thing as 401ks, pensions, all those things are gone for baby boomers. Baby boomers is the generation below us. So basically, this is most people's lives. Work for 40 years of their lives, and then hopefully after that, maybe go to Europe for a year, watch TV, and then falls about dead to the floor. That's their lives, dude. And I didn't want my life to be like that. So start learning about businesses. Start learning about how to make money work for you, or you'll end up literally like that. That's some people's lives. It is what it is. So one thing I like to teach people is this is what it is that we do. We trade currencies, right? We trade one currency for another. Everybody knows about stocks. What we trade is the worldwide market of currencies. It's like the euro against the US dollar. Great British pound against the Japanese yen. So it's the largest financial market in the world. And this is something that completely changed my entire life, right? Understanding how to make money work for you through the app and through your phone, right? So real quick, Forex market, 70% of the entire market is all banks. So you guys are already investors in the Forex market and don't even know it yet. The bank takes your money, gives it to a hedge fund trader. That hedge fund trader makes 150 to 200% of their return on investment and then give you back 0.001% at the end of the year. So to sum it up for you, dude, they take your $5 grand in your savings account, turn it into 15 grand, and then give you back less than $1 at the end of the year as a thank you for you letting them borrow your money, right? So the rich get richer, the poor get poorer, not because of lack of money, but because of lack of knowledge. People just have no idea why this is happening, right? So what we do is we educate people. We tell them the tools, we give them the tools, education, the mentorship, and the guidance to succeed, to become successful in these fields. Because if you don't, we can only do so much of what we can do, right? So real quick, what is IMarketsLive? This is the company that I partnered up with, right? Me and Chris partnered up with, right? All of us in this room are partnered up with. And what we do is we educate people. So IMarketsLive is founded in 2013, CEO is Chris Ferry, operating over 120 plus countries, completely debt-free, privately owned, no third-party services, whatever it is, right? The company in general is just empowering people to learn more and how to get educated behind trading currencies, right? So, real quick with the corporate leadership, this man over here changed our lives, right? Christopher Terry, CEO, executive officer, featured in over 20 plus books and magazines. Not only that, he's traded corporate accounts into the hundreds of millions of dollars and featured on themoneyshow.com, multiple different shows, etc. You have Isis Latorre, he's the CFO of the company, and she's more or less in the back end, right? She has her Series 7, Series 63 licenses, all that stuff to just help you guys, right, in terms of the back end. Alex Morton, who's our Executive Vice President of Sales. He's somebody that's generated over $75 million in sales at the age of 27 years old. Also doing playing ball. Ivan Tapia, exact same thing in the entire Mexican market. So he runs our entire Hispanic community. So the first thing we like to do is we like to educate people, right, on how to actually trade. We have an academy, dude, from basic, intermediate to advanced. All the stuff that it is that you need to learn about trading here, so you can become fully independent. You don't have to become dependent on us. So you got 60 videos, multiple different languages, basics, advanced, learn from expert traders as well. The coolest part about it is, like, anybody here hate math, right? See a couple people say yeah, some people now. Okay, cool. The reason why I hated math was because I was literally listening to a teacher teaching me the Pythagorean theorem that I knew was never going to get me anywhere in life, right? Pythagorean theorem never got us paid. Pythagorean theorem never paid my bills. None of that stuff. Right? But I looked at trading as like, dude, if I took this thing seriously for 2 to 3 years, I could set myself up financially for the rest of my life. Right? And just in 2 years, like I said, it did exactly that. So the next thing I want to talk about is IMarketsLive. This is our second service that we provide to people. So like, it's like the ESPN network for Forex. We have 100 live hours a week of literally live education and live trading. So with the New York Stock Exchange, right, it's big because the New York Stock opens at 8 and closes at 4. We're not just trading the New York Stock Exchange, we're literally trading the London market that's out in the UK. We're also trading the Asian market out in Tokyo and the Australian market out in Sydney. So what's cool about it is in 3 of these sessions, we hop on and we tell people when to buy and sell into the market. And not just that, get you guys educated on so you have an idea of what it is that you're doing. It's cool, dude. It's the first of its kind. Completely revolutionary. Imagine you making an extra $50 to $100 a day just instead of watching YouTube videos, cat videos, or whatever it is you're watching, right? On Facebook or Instagram or Snapchat, watching your friend getting fucked up on a Saturday night, whatever it is, right? You know, you can actually watch an hour of value, right? And make an extra $50 to $100 a day. An extra $50 to $100 a day is an extra $1,500 to $3,000 at the end of the month, right? Just literally utilizing that. So that's the power behind compounded interest. Real quick, we also have all the sessions recorded. We got a harmonic scanner tool. So like harmonics, they're a high probability form of market analysis. Everything in life is a probability. Think of it real quick. You know, you coming here was a probability. You know, you going in a car accident tomorrow is a probability. You winning the lottery is a probability. It's a small chance. You know, I wouldn't bet anything on that, but it's a small probability. What trading is, it's just probabilities. You're looking for the lowest amount of risk to get involved with something with the highest amount of probability at stake, right? You could be wrong 2 out of 3 times in trading and still become profitable if you knew what it was that you were doing. We teach people how to do that every single day. This thing right here, it literally scans the entire market for market setup patterns that are about a 70% accuracy rate. So it's your job to get in there and just analyze it a little bit more and just check it out and take the trade for yourself. So it's a very cool product. Used to sell for like $2,500 outside of IML, because Chris used to sell it for that much back in the early 2000s. But now he's just literally giving it out for people here, as long as you're part of the system. And then we have daily swing trades. So daily swing trades 3 to 5 times a week. Chris gives a market analysis of the entire market. So it's sometimes a certain pair or a certain, you know, like the most recent one was Bitcoin, right? The retrace on Bitcoin. So what he does is he analyzes the market every single week. 3 to 5 times a week, he tells us when to go in and when to go out. So people are literally getting multi-millionaire advice from a multi-millionaire. So it's cool because every major pair is analyzed and you're always learning new techniques. The next product we have, the next 2 products we have, Fusion Trader and the FX Signals Live service. What it is essentially, it's like an auto trader, dude. We have some people that don't actually surprisingly want to learn how to trade. They want automated profits, right? I have a buddy in Europe, he's multi-millionaire. And he doesn't really care about trading. He understands his strengths, he understands his weaknesses. He's really good at marketing. So what he did was he just put a couple thousands of dollars into the fusion trader and will collect that 5 to 15% every single month. Might not sound like a lot, 5 to 15% every single month, but dude, 5 to 15% every single month is literally what the average 401k or mutual fund will give you. 15 and 5%. Like that's a lot. Especially if you have $10,000 in an account, that's an extra $1,000 a month. Literally, just you plugging into the system. The way that it works is Chris has these traders that he's already paying, that is trading his own account, that they're trading their own accounts already. And you're just opening up a separate account similar to what you do on Wall Street and connecting it to it. So every single time they go into a trade, you go into a trade. Every time they leave in profit, you would leave in profit. It literally does all the copying and pasting for you. And it's completely hands-free. And we have an account protection program, the down draw program, that literally protects your account so you never lose any more than 10 or 15% of your investment on it. So that's our fusion trader. And one of the final services that we have is the swipe trades. So like anybody here like have Tinder or know what Tinder is? I know a couple people don't want to admit it or whatever it is. So we created the first ever Tinder app. So the way that the Tinder app works, with the swipe trades app works, my apologies, you can swipe left and swipe right? And the way that it works is like it comes right here on your phone. So I'll open it up here for you guys. Okay, so right here, AUD USD news. Let's see. You can decline the trade, or you can trade or accept the trade. Right, when you accept the trade, we're going to give you a visual of why we're going into the trade. Right, it's right around the supply and demand zone, number one. You see how market's standing, number two. We're also going to give you the symbol, the time frame, the trade type, the entry point, stop loss, and take profit. Entry point, when the price hits that point, it'll execute you in the trade. Stop loss is meant to protect your account, just in case the trade goes sideways. And the take profit is there literally to just get you out in profit. Right, you don't have to stare at your screen all the time. You literally just put the take profit there and automatically it'll get you out. So all you do here is literally just copy, and then you have an MT4 account right here. Right? This is where you can trade. You can trade live in the market right here. Hit trade and paste those numbers. All those numbers from one app into another app. And literally, people are making anywhere from 300 to 500 pips in a week doing this stuff. So pips are like points in the market. I can't tell you the exact amount of money that you would make every single week because some people risk more, some people risk less in their account. But let's say it was a 10-cent lot. That's risking $1 per pip. You could comfortably do this if you have a $300, $400 account. 2 weeks ago, we caught like 535 pips or something like that. You would have made $535 literally just copying and pasting trades. I copied and pasted in high school, like literally my entire algebra class. Like literally, I honestly, dude, I was so bad in school. But the reason being, like I said in the beginning, I just didn't want to learn how to actually do math. But the cool thing about this is we created a system where it helps the average person make money and succeed, right? So we also have training and support for your success at IMarketsLive.com. IMarketsLive.com is badass. What this site is essentially a bunch of videos put together to help you guys out. That way you don't have to ask us a billion questions. But what it does is like, this is how you set up your broker account. This is how you set up MetaTrader 4. This is how you get set up with this, how you get set up with that. This is how you swipe trade. So it's all there at your disposable, just for you, right? So systems are super important. You have a corporate app, and we also have 7-figure mentorship, 7 and 8-figure mentorship, right? You are the average. You're the 5 people. You're the average of 5 people you hang around with most guys. Like, understand that. If you hang around 5 potheads, you're gonna be the 6th. If you hang around 5 broke friends, you're gonna be the 6th.
Yes.
Right? If you hang around 5 successful people, by default, with the law of whatever it was, you're gonna be the 6th successful person, right? So a lot of people don't understand this, right? But if you utilize that, we actually have this thing. I don't want to get too in depth, but as human beings, we actually have this thing, like all of us, it's called mirror neurons. We start to mirror what other people in an environment are doing. We start mirroring their habits. We start mirroring their sayings, right? You ever hang around your friends so much you start saying exactly what they're saying, like certain slang? Like in the East Coast, I use OD, right? Everybody in the East Coast is saying like OD, but let's say in the West Coast, it's a different slang. So it's like you're the average of the people you surround yourself with most. You will be the average of their income. You will be the average of what it is that they achieve in life, right? So start surrounding yourself with higher quality people. Because dude, the second I started surrounding myself with higher quality people, dude, was the second my entire life changed, dude. It was the second that, it was the reason why we're living in a penthouse right now. It's the reason why I started traveling half the world. It's the reason why we started doing what it was that we were doing, dude. You didn't change it. anything about ourselves, right? We started listening to different books. We started doing different things differently. While everybody else was partying and smoking, bro, we stayed in, dude. We stayed in and put in the work. Now, entrepreneurship is eating shit for 2 years of your life, dude. To live 40 years of your life financially free and successful. Would you sacrifice that, or would you rather go work 40 years of your life, dude? Think about that before I bring up the next person. I just want to say, he's somebody that's completely, honestly changed my entire life. He's not only a six-figure trader, right, or a networker, but he's flipped like crazy accounts. He bought a $200 account, $45,000 2 years ago. Trading, just completely trading, right? He's also one of the leaders in this entire movement in bringing this entire business into everyone's hands within the next decade. So I'm going to bring up my buddy and my roommate and one of my best friends, Chris Derek. Woo!
How's everybody doing?
Great.
Good?
Yeah.
Everybody excited?
Yeah.
Awesome. I want to do things a little bit differently today. You know, I always talk about like my story, just like pretty much like tidbits of it. But I want people to really understand like the entire journey. I promise it won't be that long because I know I can talk forever, right? We already know that. I can keep talking. But I want you guys to see the whole process behind this because, you know, you guys see what's happening right now. People see the shine, but they don't see the grind. They don't see the entire journey. And what's crazy is that at one point, you wouldn't believe the position that he was in, you wouldn't believe the position that I was in. And if we told every single person that one day that we would be making six figures or clearing a yearly in a week from trading currencies, I bet you every single person would laugh at us, right? This is the honest truth because it sounds too good to be true. But the truth is, once you start doing a lot more research, things start to change. My entire journey in entrepreneurship started when I was like 17 years old. I found out that I was having a child. I found at the age of 17 I was having a kid, and at that time I honestly thought, you're having a kid too? Yeah. Oh, he's like, but I found I was having a child, and the truth is, like, I honestly thought that my life was over. Right? I had a full ride scholarship for Army RTC to major in critical care nursing and minor in classical music. Like each semester cost $16,000. And so when I found that out, I had two options. Either I joined the military, right, and get active benefits like just as soon as I get set up, or I stay in college and try to find a way to support her. Now the thing was, I was broke. I was super broke. 2 years in college, I was in broke in college. Right? I was eating like top ramen, I was doing all those things. I was saving up pretty much the dollar making a Taco Bell and trying to space that out. So I was stuck. So I ended up joining the military, but the day that I signed away my scholarship was the day that they were gonna pay for the tuition. So automatically at age of 18 was having a kid and automatically $16,000 in debt for college that I didn't even finish. So it sucked. The next thing you know, I went to interrogation school in the Army for about 9 months. 4 months later, I was on deployment. So during that entire time, you know, it sucked. I missed my daughter's first, second, third, fourth, and fifth birthday. And I got to a certain point where I was brainwashed because I thought that was the only thing that was in my life was the military. I saw all these people, these E6s, E7s that have been in for 15 to 20 years. But the truth is, they weren't happy with their situations. I was watching a lot of people stuck. And how many people do you know, even if it's including yourself, that you feel like you're going through this like circle all the time and you're not really getting any progress at all? It just sucks because what happens is this. We have bills. Who here has residual bills? I'm talking about phone bills, you know, car payments, car insurance, rent, whatever it is. But the thing is, if you make a certain amount of money, what happens at the end of the month? It comes back down. And then what happens, it comes up and it comes back down. So I got to a certain point in my life where I was like, yo, is this it? Like, is this the only way to live? Because I'm watching people on social media live a different type of lifestyle. So I ended up jumping into different, you know, opportunities. Like I did health and wellness. I almost did skincare. And the reason why is because I was so open-minded to the success. Because once you see 6 or 7 figure earners in the industry, what's the difference maker of you and them? It's just time, consistency, and hard work. It's the ones that's crazy enough to think they can do it are the ones that do it. So I did all these different things, and it got to a certain point in my life where honestly, I was sick and tired of it. I was really sick and tired of being sick and tired with my circumstances, but trying and failing over and over again, it sucks. Who here has tried something and failed? Right? But the truth is, do we get back up and continue to do it? For 90% of us, the truth is no. Like we get hurt the first time and all of a sudden we just give up on it, right? So that's what I started to realize about everything in life. Then I started researching business owners, people like in Facebook, like Mark Zuckerberg. I started, you know, studying Steve Jobs. Has anybody ever watched his movie before? How many times did that dude fail? The whole company's pretty much taken away from him and he came back to revamp the whole thing. So I started seeing these clues when it came to success, that no matter how many times they failed, they kept going over and over and over again until what? Until something happened. And that's what I started to realize. But I got tired of it. I'm a human. I'm like everybody else. I have emotions. And it got to a certain point where my relationship ended because of it. My mom and dad stopped talking to me because I didn't want to go to school. It just sucked. My friends knew me as a person. I was just reading books all the time. They used to make fun of me because like, dude, this dude thinks he's going to be rich one day. Or he thinks he can be the next Jordan Belfort, right? But look what happened. What happened was I found people that had what I wanted and I did exactly what they did. There's no secret to this entire thing when it comes to any category in life. Like right now, I'm training for the whole physique fitness thing. And I didn't realize that the whole time, if I just stayed consistent, counting everything out, working out every single day, right, that I would have the results that I wanted. But who could commit to something for more than 18 months, right? We live in the most socially connected age of information, but who here agrees it's more of an age of entertainment rather than it's an age of information? Right? We see all this stuff all the time. Who swipes right on the Snap, not on Tinder? Okay, who swipes right on Snapchat to watch all the news that's going on with celebrities? So we tend to know more about other people's successes than we know more about ourselves. We tend to focus on other people's journeys rather than ourselves. And how many times have you been in a situation where people kept telling you exactly the way that your life should be every single day, and this is how it's supposed to be? Right? They're making decisions for you, and you do that. And once you realize how stupid that is, you really start to live your life based off the offense. You know how easy it is to make money right now? There's people on YouTube doing twerking videos that have over 1 million views. You know how many views, how much money they make per view?
Right.
Around 16 cents per view. So there's people making 6 figures from doing that on YouTube. There's ways to work smarter rather than harder. It's just the honest truth, right? There's people, I remember my buddy out there in Cali, before he became an independent trader, he was Uber driving. And he Uber drove this little girl, I think she was like 15 or 16 years old, and she was already making 6 figures from her YouTube channel for doing choreography, for doing her passion. And I'm not saying, just jump into something. The whole point is that Jim Rohn said this. He said, you work part-time on your fortune until your part-time fortune becomes bigger than your what? Than your job. I'm not telling every single person here to quit their job right now to go all into trading. But guys, one decision changed everything. About 3 weeks ago, I took $187 to over $48,000. $48,000, and I withdrew it into my bank account. And mind you, I made the $30,000 profit in Costa Rica. Do you understand the epiphanies, the self-realizations? Like, you know what's going through my mind? Pretty much all the pain that happened, right? What happened when I first jumped into this whole thing and went all into trading currencies was I reached out, I saw people on Instagram that one was working at Target, one was working in a warehouse, and then all of a sudden they're driving an M4 BMW, they have the condo of their dreams, they're buying all the Yeezys, all the Supreme stuff. I'm not saying I'm a materialistic person, but it's different when you watch people come up on their success. I was like, yo, wait a minute, you were broke like 2 months ago. Like, what happened? They're probably dealing drugs. That's probably the first thing you think about, right? You live in Miami, they're doing all these things, but I reached out. And the thing is, we see people that have success all the time. Who here knows somebody successful at all? And have you ever once went to those people and said, what did you do? Write a game plan. I'm going to do exactly what you did to get to that point. No, we complain and we talk about like, oh man, they have all this and they have all that, right? We get mad at people that have mommy and daddy money. But you know what's crazy? Their mommy and daddy work their freaking butts off to give them that. Who here is thinking about even in the future having your own kids? Right? Would you want them to live a mediocre lifestyle, or would you rather them be set?
Right.
So we can't hate on these people that have success. We should actually celebrate their success and find out exactly what they did. And that's exactly what I did in August of 2015. I was at the lowest of the low. I honestly just wanted to give up on life. I wanted to give up on entrepreneurship. My relationship was ending because she was literally like, you can't deposit dreams into a bank account, Chris. You're always watching these charts. You're always on these calls. You're always reading these books. You're going to like Body, Mind, and Soul Expos in Austin, Texas. You're doing some weird stuff with these crystals and meditation rocks. Like, what are you doing? Like you're not getting this, right? But the thing is, we live in an age of instant gratification rather than long-term success. So if you think about it like this, I consider trading, and I consider also marketing like being a sports athlete. I was watching this dude's promotion to 7 figures in the industry, and he literally said that the reason why he had success is because he treated his business and whatever business ventures that he was in like he was a professional athlete. Now, what do they do to get to that point of being a professional or being an Olympian? They train, right? Mm-hmm. So when we train for business, we study. We study the grades. When it comes to trading, what do you think that you're doing? Right? You train in the facility by studying the charts, by studying people that are already having success. Well, last week was what? 500 pips from spike trades. That's the easy part. You could copy and paste and make $500 last week. Who here made money off swipe trades last week? It's simple, it's too easy. There's people that's coming in, it's really just copying and pasting. So the information is there, it's just if you take it seriously. I jumped into this whole thing, I got kicked out of my place, right? I was sleeping on my friend's floor. You even asked me, he's Kenneth Jacobs, he lives out there in like North Carolina right now. But we started trading. And what happened was after my first week of studying, I took $200 to $3,500 in 4 days. Then I did $50 the next week to $1,079. And from that $1,079, I actually turned it to $20,000 in about 3 days. Now, mind you, my yearly income after taxes was $36,000 a year. So I made 2/3 of my yearly income. Do you think that I cared about haters at this point? Like, do you think I care about what my mom and dad had to say? It's not nothing against anybody. It's not me saying anyone's better than anybody, but at the same time, I had information that after applying it, changed my entire life. I didn't know I was gonna be teaching. What happened was I took $1.79. My buddy Christian Vargas, we're out there doing an old tour in Utah, and he's like, I bet you can't flip that small account. It was the day before NFP. You heard of what NFP is when it comes to trading. It's one of the most volatile times to trade, first Friday every single month. I took $1.79 to $870 in 2 days. I get this phone call at 2 o'clock in the morning. Next thing you know, I'm out there in Vegas, and this is the most spoiled I've ever been in my life. I've never came from money. My family was always struggling. I'm in 3 different 5-star hotels, eating in every single 5-star restaurant with this man who's made over $85 million in trading currencies. Now, do you understand what happened in like my mindset when I was around that? I saw what was possible, and I asked him one question. I said, "What's your story, dude? Like, you're rich now. Did you come from a rich family?" This dude was homeless, living on his brother's couch, working for his brother's construction company, pretty much, right? He was struggling, and he became a person where his wife introduced him to trading currencies, and now he's been featured in multiple trades expos, weekly contributors to the Money Show. I saw what was possible, and the thing is, I thought people that had money were super bougie and mean, right? Super cocky all the time, like, oh, I'm better than everybody else. But I saw somebody that was humble for the first time. I saw somebody that had nothing and became so successful. And he's like, it's the way that you treat other people. What you get is what you give. And he created this whole platform for us. He said he wanted to take his entire life's work, give it to the average consumer to help them to have the open door when it comes to trading currencies. You could open up a brokerage account right now and start trading. What he did at that point when I was out there in Vegas was he said, Chris, how would you feel about being the top educator of the entire company? I was like, dude, you're all right. There's no way that I'm gonna teach all these people. I was like, I'm 25 years old. He's like, a man that's on a mission to do this for his daughters, a person that's gonna have success in this, rather than a person who's just doing it for what? Cars, clothes, and the girls, right? So I was like, all right, fine, I'll teach. Now I'll start teaching in the beginning through Zoom. Who in here knows what Zoom is? There was 96 people I started teaching to on Zoom. Right? Then it got to a point where in Hong Kong they had 10 classrooms with 50 people each, and they had a translator translating everything. And now I teach through a platform through IMLTV with over 40,000 customers. And now we have over a dozen educators in multiple languages. Guys, everything starts to change based off of decisions. Crazy. I was listening to this EDM mix earlier, but they had what's his name? Will Smith talking about it in the beginning. He's like, once you decide what you want, the universe steps out the way for you. Now, if you think that you want these legendary results, be ready for those legendary failures. They have to remove things out of your life in order for more things to come in. Who here has been in IMO for a minute now? And who here agrees that the moment you jumped into the law of attraction, law of vibration, understanding that whatever you think, you feel, you believe, you receive. I might sound crazy, but guys, I went from sleeping on the floor to the 25th floor of a penthouse. That's not normal, it's not. But I saw it here first. Everybody thought I was psychotic. But if you guys go watch Water is Alive on YouTube, they did a study where people took spoken word and also felt these emotions of love, anger, hate. They even had Hitler. They had water from a lake, and then after a blessing of a child, they watched how this water crystallized. And if you look at love, if you look at happiness, it's the most beautiful crystal in the entire world. If you look at anger, it's distorted. If you look at sadness, it's droopy. If you look at Hitler, it looks like some crazy stuff. So if you could control water with your thoughts, imagine what you could do with your life. So who here agrees that things start to be removed from your life the moment you start to think differently, right? We tend to subject ourselves to an environment of people that are digressing us. I got sick and tired of that. Who's tired of living a mediocre lifestyle? Now, when the pain of never getting moments become greater than the pain of change, that's when you finally become successful. Never again will I be in debt. Never again will I be broke. Never again will I go out to eat and everyone's looking at me and asking me if I'm hungry, but the truth is you don't have any money. Never again will the electricity turn off because I couldn't pay the bill, right? Never again you have to choose between child support and food, right? I got so sick and tired of that. So if you're that type of person right now that in the back of your mind you feel that type of way, I'm gonna ask you one question. What are you going to do about it? And I don't care if you don't even get set up with the whole platform. I'm asking you this, just do something about it. Right? If you could take anything from this entire thing, how you do anything is how you do everything. How can you expect to be successful if you're always late? How can you expect to be, oh, I got late today because I hit the laptop, right? How can you expect to be successful, right, if you keep drinking and partying? How can you expect to be successful? Like, if you really think about it, look at the 95% on what they do, and look at the 5% on what they do. That's it. End of story, okay? So I'm going to go off into this, and I'm going to leave it off. I know I talk a lot, but I want everyone to understand this mindset, because I'm not